At 4 o'clock in the morning, we started dropping our boats in the water. We had 26 Higgins boats. You know what a Higgins boat is, right? Yeah. We had 26 boats. We circled the ship one time, supposed to be good luck, and we headed towards the beaches. We couldn't get on the beach because there was obstacles in the water. You know, these cross beams with metal. And it was mine. And along the beach, the Germans had 33 machine guns, M42s. It fires 160 rounds per minute. So my job originally, I'm a gunner's mate, so I was supposed to be posting a machine gun on the boat. You in the service? You know how they act? You know what they do? About 3 or 4 weeks before the invasion, they took my gun away. If you ask me why, I don't know. So consequently, instead of the machine guns, they gave me the job of dropping the ramp, you know, in the front of the boat. The boat is made out of wood, but in the front of the boat, they have this ramp, like a garage door ramp, and it's made of 2 or 3 inch metal. So it can withstand either a rifle or a machine gun. So when we got close enough to the beach, we only go about 200 yards from the beach. That's the closest we could get. And the machine guns opened fire on us. And the bullets were bouncing off the ramp because it was metal, it was up. But I knew eventually I had to drop the ramp. And then the bullets, instead of hitting the ramp, they would come into the boat. So the coxswain says to me, drop the ramp. I never heard him because the roar of the cannons, 2 big diesel engines in the back of the boat, I never heard him. Then the second time he says to me, drop the ramp. And I froze for a few seconds because I didn't want to die. And I knew once I dropped that ramp, I bust. And then he said to me, he says, goddamn DeVita, drop the effing ramp. So I had no choice. I dropped the ramp. The machine guns opened up fire, killed about 14, 15 troops that were in the front of the boat. Now, where I was, there was a crank lower and raised the ramp. I was about 3/4 of the way back. You know anything about basketball? Yeah. You know what pick is?
Yes.
Well, I had soldiers in front of me. They were my pick. They were absorbing the bullets that would come to me, you know. But I had 2 stragglers. They didn't want to die, so they didn't want to get the other troops to going forward. They stayed with me. They thought by staying with me, they'd be safe. Unfortunately, by staying with me, they were drawing fire from the hills. They didn't help me. There was 2 guys. One guy was about 4 feet away from me. The other guy was about 2 feet away from me. The first guy got hit, ripped his stomach open. His stomach's outside his belly. Fortunately, he lived. This guy lived. And the other guy that was 2 feet away from me, he was a red-headed kid. The machine gun took his helmet off and part of his brain, a part of it. And he was crying, help me, help me, help me. I had no morphine, I couldn't help him. So he fell at my feet. Excuse me if I get a little emotional. He fell at my feet and he was crying, help me, help me, help me. I had nothing in my kit to help him. So the only thing I had was the Lord's Prayer. And I started praying, Our Father who art in heaven. I never finished it. Then he slumped down. I knew he was going to die. And I reached down and I squeezed his hand. I want him to know that he wasn't alone. Then he died. He died. He was just a little boy. Just a little boy. So then the coxswain says, pick up the ramp because we were getting a lot of flack from the hills and from the machine guns on the beach. So he says to me, raise the ramp. So we headed for my boat, my ship rather, and then we saw this white ship with a big red cross on it. It's a hospital ship. So instead of going to our ship, we went to the hospital ship because we had a lot of wounded aboard, badly wounded.